Hey guys, it's Jessica from Fill Up Books, and today I'm here with my favorite romances of 2021 so far. I'm filming this the last day of June, so it is officially 6 months into the year. We are halfway through. That means that I am here with my favorites. I did chop off my hair. It is shorter for the summer. I really do like it. And I have, I think, 10 books. If you've been watching my videos for the past month, really, you will see me going through kind of an existential crisis with my reading because I wasn't excited about books and I was just trying to keep up with like what everyone else is reading, like traditionally published, what I was being sent. And then I was just like, I'm just gonna read what I want. And what I want is indie romances, and actually on this list, all but one, I think all but one, are indie romances because they have been hitting the spot for me, and I realize I haven't been reading like books that make me excited about reading, books that are amazing. 5 stars. A lot of these are books that I've read in the last 2 months. So I don't know what I was doing from January through April. I was reading a lot of historicals, and no historicals are on this list. I've already done my top historicals of 2021 so far, so I'll link that down below. I always love historicals. I will always love historicals. Those are traditionally published. I love them. But when it comes to contemporary, I've been wanting dark. I've been wanting mafia. I've been wanting motorcycle. So I'm gonna get to these. Let me know before I even start what you think is on my top 10. I think I have 10. I have 11, and one's a series. So let me know what you think is going to be on here. But the first one should come as no surprise. I will not stop talking about it. That is Forget Me Not by QB Tyler. These are not in any particular order. I am not someone who can list my favorites in order, but this one, it just was amazing. I listened to this book on audio and I could not stop thinking about it. Our hero and heroine are on the brink of divorce. They're like a week out from finalizing their divorce. Our hero gets into an accident and he loses his memory of the past 5 years, which is really when things went downhill for them. Their conflicts do revolve around having children, so make sure you're aware of that going into this book. But he lost his memory, so in his mind, they are absolutely madly in love with one another still, and she is like, you first of all cheated on me, because he does cheat on her, and we get that whole scene in the past of when he cheated on her, and he is just like, but I love you, there's no way I would do that to us in our marriage. And it's heartbreaking watching him learn what had happened in the last 5 years, and he is adamant that like they're gonna make it work. So I really love this one so much. I'm excited to read more by this author of her not taboo books, because I read one of her taboo books and it was just a little too taboo for me, but she does have a new book coming out soon, so I'm excited to read that. But this one was amazing. Then I have one I read last week, and that is Inked in Lies by Gianna Darling. This is book 5 in the Fallen Men series. It is a motorcycle series. I have been putting it off because I don't want the series to I don't want to catch up with the series because she isn't writing any more this year. She wrote 3 last year, and so she took this year off from writing in this series. She's writing other things, and then next year I know for sure she's writing a new one, book 7, but this one is Nova's story. We've been just infatuated with Nova since we met him earlier on in the series, and it's his romance with Lila. And this one is a childhood friends to lovers and an age gap. He is 11 years older than her. He is the age of her older brother, and her older brother and him were best friends. And we get the beginning, we get like 120 pages of just setup, which I think was amazing because we got when she was 6 and she's really close with her brother, but they have really bad parents who fight all the time. Nova's family moves in next door and she's really close with them, and then at one point she is pretty much adopted into their family with her brother, and they keep on kind of referencing Nova as like her foster brother, but he only lived with her maybe a year before he moved out when he turned 18, so he never like lived with her as a sister, so it's not weird like that. But she has always had a crush on him, and he really pushes her away because we get a scene like when she's in her early 20s, like 21, and he does something really heartbreaking to her. She tries to move on, and then we have it when she's like 25, 24, and he is in his 30s, and it's their romance. And we also have this whole villain against the fallen MC going on, and she is trying to figure out how to take them down, and so there's a lot of like intrigue in here as well. I was just obsessed with the romance. I'm obsessed with this book. One of my all-time new favorite books, not only of the series, but just like of ever because I love this book so much. Another one I read just last week, I was just on a roll of reading amazing books, is Real by Kennedy Ryan. I think every year I will have a Kennedy Ryan book on this list, so just be prepared for that. I know last year I had, I think, Queen Move, and then I think the year before was Kingmaker. I don't remember what year Kingmaker came out, if it came out last year or the year before, but that was definitely on my list. But this one is a Hollywood romance. So we have an actress and a director, and she hasn't really gotten her big break yet, and she is then understudy on Broadway, and then our hero Cannon sees her and he is like, that is the woman I want in my movie. He's doing a biopic of a really famous black musician, and so he's like, she is exactly what I'm looking for this heroine of my movie, and so he gets her to be on his movie, and she is instantly really captivated by him, intrigued by him, but he had a relationship go very, very wrong in the past with an actress on his set, so he doesn't want to do that again, so he's very hesitant to start anything. She is dealing with lupus. That is a huge part of this book, so please be aware of that going in. She does have a chronic illness, and that plays into their relationship, but this was just so beautiful and amazing, and I got to talk with Kennedy, with Lacey on Lacey's channel for our Ravished by Romance book club, so it was amazing hearing her talk about this book, her inspirations for this book. The romance was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I love the whole movie backdrop. Apparently the audiobook is absolutely amazing as well. I didn't read it because it's only on Audible right now, but I read it physically and I adored it, so I would definitely recommend reading this. It is one of my favorites of the year. I do have 3 mafia romances on this list. I'm gonna go with one right now. That is Twisted Pride by Cora Riley. I will say the ending made me want to drop it down a star because they were happy, and then we had like a lot of the book left, and I was just like, I don't care that they're happy now. It was like an epilogue kind of thing. But this one is book 3 in the Camorra Chronicles, and it is Ramo's story. He's the capo of the Camorra, and he kidnaps our heroine who is on the way to her wedding with someone else. She is the daughter of their rival mafia. He kidnaps her, so she's stuck in their house. We have a lot of Ramo's brothers, which I love. We have the couples from the first 2 books, and it's just so good. There's a trope in here I normally hate, and I was so excited that it was in here. I was like, yes, this is happening, so I didn't mind it. I love this so much. She is just like, I am betraying my family. She has a twin brother, and her bond with him is so strong, so she's like, how could I ever love someone of the rival mafia? I'm a monster. This was everything I want in a mafia romance and more. So amazing. It's my favorite in the series, but I still loved book 1 and 2, but this one is probably my favorite. I'll go ahead and go with the other 2 mafia ones right now. I just like really needed these in my life when I read them, and I absolutely love the experience reading them, and that's why they're favorites of mine of the year, just because of when they came into my life. I think you guys can relate to that, is like, if you read these at a different time, you're like, yeah, they're good books, but like you were needing that book. Like that is what you wanted, and it gave what you wanted. So we have Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. This one I was just so surprised by because I've never read this author before. I didn't hear about her until Jen from the Book Refuge told me about her, and I've read the second book too. The second book I gave 4 stars, but this one I loved. Our hero and heroine are from rival mafias, and they have to go into an arranged marriage. Our heroine kind of crashes a birthday party that is the rival mafia's daughter, and she ends up almost burning down their house and starting this huge feud, and their families are like, we cannot afford to lose people from a feud again, because they feuded before, had a lot of people die. They're like, we can't do it. So in order to have better relations, they're like, okay, you are getting married to you. So the son of the one and the daughter of the other have to get married, and they literally detest each other. Like the wedding day scene, I was laughing out loud because they tried to almost kill each other. Like they put each other like to the brink of death just to mess with each other, because they literally hate each other, and they like to play with each other, and then that playing with each other turns into a physical relationship as they're playing with each other, but then they're like kind of turning serious, and they're like, wait, I actually like this, and it is just amazing. I'm excited to read the rest of the series. It's definitely on my TBR for this month. These are amazing. I'm excited to read more from Sophie Lark. I'm so excited I discovered her this year. And then another surprise, this book has been on my shelves for maybe 3 years now, and I finally picked it up, and that is Crow by A. Zavarelli. This one had all the action I need in a mafia romance. I love it when my heroines are not these docile, innocent, pure mafia women. Our heroine in here, I don't remember her name, Mac. So her best friend goes missing, and she knows that her best friend was working at a club owned by the mafia. So she decides she's gonna figure out what happened to her friend since the police won't do anything. And so she tries to get a job there, and she's like, I'm gonna get close to them so that I can get in. And she actually enters like a fight. She literally can hold her own. She can fight guys and beat them, and that's what she did. And so Lachlan sees her and he's so intrigued by her, but he doesn't want to trust anybody. It's just so good, and it's literally touch her and I'll kill you, because he does that in here, and I was just like, give it to me. I eat that up like candy. I love that kind of hero. I know it's problematic, but I love that hero. So this one was just so amazing, and it set up the rest of the series so well that I'm so excited for books 2 and 3, because we met the heroes definitely, and one of the heroines I know for sure. Oh, both of the heroines I think we met in here, so I'm excited for their romances as well. The only traditionally published book is because I was just really surprised by this, and it's really lighthearted until the end. So it was really fun in the beginning. We do get a really bad relationship in the end of it, like that she's still dealing with. She wasn't in an abusive relationship in this book, so know that going in. But it is How to Fill Up Flirting by Nicole Williams. This one was just so cute. She goes out and she decides that she's gonna like go flirt with someone, and she meets our hero, and they almost have a one-night stand, but like things just don't go as planned, and it's so funny. I just love how they literally are just so awkward and really do fail at flirting, but like really like each other, and it's super cute. But then she realizes that she is in a department in her university where, like the university she works for, they are cutting departments, and she works in education, I believe, and the hero is hired in a company to try to see which departments should be cut because they are running out of money. And they realize that they are in jobs where they really shouldn't be dating each other, so they kind of have to keep it quiet. And then she doesn't know if she can trust him because she wants to keep her job, but then it's like those boundaries of professional and personal. And then an ex comes into the picture later on because she wasn't in an abusive relationship. But I just really, really love this one. I listened to it on audio. One of the few traditionally published books that just hit the spot for me. The next one I'm going to do is Ever After Always by Chloe Leese. The second book in this series was definitely on my top of last year, but I read it like I think after I filmed that video, because it was one of the last books of 2020 I read. But this one is a marriage in trouble story, and it is part of the Bergman series, the Bergman Brothers series. I just requested book 4 on NetGalley and I got accepted, so I'm so excited to read book 4. But this one, our heroine, her and her husband are really on the rocks. He is a professor who's a professor in book 1, and they haven't really been talking to each other that well, and they're not in a good place in their marriage, and so they actually go to counseling. They go on a family vacation together, and it's really fantastic. We see a lot of her family. He's always like been a part of the family, but like now that they're kind of on the rocks, he doesn't know like really where he stands with the family, and I just really enjoyed this one. I love a marriage in trouble romance, and this one, it's just amazing. And like the family is amazing. Like books with amazing families make me love them, so I really love this one too. Then we have the Mindf series by S.T. Abby. I'm including this because I flew through these books, and they had that like darkness I love, but they were just so addicting. It is a serial killer and FBI profiler, so if you like Criminal Minds, this is amazing. Our heroine is the serial killer. She's killing off men who wronged her in her past. This is a dark romance, so there are trigger warnings for sexual assault, killing, torture, all of that stuff. And so she is trying to get back at people, and we don't really understand why fully until maybe book 4 we figure out what all these men did to her, but they're really short. They're like 120 pages each, so they fly by, these books do. And she falls in love with a profiler, and he's falling in love with her, and she didn't do it on purpose. He kind of keeps her humanity there and in check, but she has this need to torture and kill these men, and torture and kill people who have wronged her. And so each book is pretty much ends on a cliffhanger, so you want to read the next one. I loved this. Some of the scenes get a little dark. Like there was one I literally like shivered of how gross it was of what she was doing to this man, but I didn't know how things were going to end. I didn't know if we were going to get an HEA or not. I mean, it's a romance, so I'll tell you that, but it was just amazing. I love the series. Then I am going to talk about the Bridge Kingdom series by Danielle Jensen. This one, I gave this one 4.5 stars. The romance is very, 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 very slow burn. So know that going in that you shouldn't go into this just for the romance, because it's a lot more than that, and I was like dying for them to just like get together already, and we don't get that till the very end of this book. But I love The Traitor Queen, which is book 2. There's a huge cliffhanger at the end of this one, and I love how things wrapped up in book 2. Book 3 is going to be about a different character, and a different couple. So I think this is the end of this couple's journey. It's just the 2 books. And our heroine is raised with her sisters to be an assassin, and one of them is going to be chosen to marry the king of this kingdom where like the bridge is super important to his kingdom. He controls it, and they're supposed to infiltrate it, take over the bridge, and kill him. And she is chosen, and then they actually fall in love with each other, and it's crazy because she's supposed to be finding secrets about him, sending it back home, but then she's like, I really like him, and I loved his sister as a character. I loved so many people in this series, and especially in book 2 we get to see a lot of other characters that are fantastic, and just like from the first chapter I was hooked, and I'm really excited that I found this because I need more fantasy romance authors in my life, and so I'm definitely gonna pick up more by this author. The last one is gonna be My Life in Shambles by Karina Halley. This one again is just one that I just was really in the mood for, and so I ended up really loving it. Our heroine just loses her fiance and her apartment and her job all at the same time, and so she is just like what do I even do? And so she goes to Ireland with her sisters to celebrate New Year's Eve, and it's her 2 sisters, and I think like one's already married with kids, and so she goes there, and at a bar she sees this guy that a lot of people go up to, and he's just like really brooding, doesn't want to talk to anybody, so she goes up to him and she offers to buy him a drink, and he says no, and then he feels bad. He is actually a professional rugby player. He's super popular and famous in Ireland, but he doesn't want to talk to anybody. But then they end up spending time together, and his dad, I believe, is dying, and so he wants to go home with a fiance so that his dad doesn't worry about him, so he asks her to pose as his fiance. And this one turned actually really serious because our hero has some health problems, and they end up having to deal with that as well. So know that going into this book is that it starts off really fun, and it's like a travel romance. They gotta fake be engaged, but then it turns pretty serious, and it's just so good. I really love this. Karina Halley is definitely one of my favorite authors now. I've read so many books by her that I've loved and adored, and I have so much of her backlist to catch up on, but I did really enjoy this one. And those are my favorite books so far of 2021 that are just romance, not historicals, not YA, just romance, adult romance. I am so excited with how my reading has been going lately, and I'm excited to pick up more books by these authors and by authors that just make me excited about reading. I've realized that these books show me that I love reading when I pick up ones I'm genuinely really excited for. So I'm excited to read more. Like I said, how many times am I going to say excited in a sentence? I don't know, but that's all I have. Let me know what your favorite books of 2021 are so far this year. I would love to hear, and that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.